So, yeah. We're talking about Iowa Caitlin Clark. Why are we talking about Iowa Caitlin Clark? Because, some of the media that is covering sports and covering the WNBA are making sure as hell that we don't forget that, Caitlin Clark doesn't have a championship in college. Like, I've never heard that argument ever in my life be used in basketball. But now apparently because Caitlin Clark didn't win a ring in college, she can't be an all-time great in college. She was the all-time leading scorer. She broke Pistol Pete Maravich's record. Pistol Pete, not Kelsey Plum's record. She broke Pistol Pete Maravich's record. Nobody was going to break Pistol Pete's record. She was the leading scorer in college basketball in like 3 of her 4 seasons. She led Iowa to back-to-back championship games. They hadn't been in a Final Four in 30 years. And she led them to back-to-back championship games. They weren't even close to making the Final Four with Megan Gustafson when she was National Player of the Year. She was a 2-time National Player of the Year, and you could argue that she probably could have been 3-time National Player of the Year. Heck, you could argue 4-time. Like, there is an argument to be made she should have been National Player of the Year as a freshman, the year Paige Beckers got it. There is an argument to be made that Caitlin Clark was better as a freshman than Paige Beckers. Heck, they were co-freshmen of the year. Paige Beckers didn't even win outright freshman of the year, but she won National Player of the Year that year. But we're now hearing Jemele Hill going on and on about how Caitlin Clark can't be considered an all-time great basketball player because she didn't win a ring in college or she hasn't won at any level. But like the worst part is that everybody is what you call it, not like equating, but like they're ignoring the fact that Caitlin Clark has an MVP in a World Cup. She has won 2 World Cups and she won an MVP in one of them. Like, people are ignoring that she's won like AmeriCups. She's won multiple golds for Team USA. And for people being like, oh, that's not winning anything. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Like, that winning MVP of the FIBA World Cup obviously means 100 times more than winning a state championship in high school. Like, I'm just trying to think of players, all-time great players that have never won college rings. LeBron James, obviously he never went to college. Kevin Durant. Let me just try to figure it out. What players have won college rings? And I'm not even going to say have won college rings. Have won college rings as a number 1 option. We're going to look at the best players of all time. Magic Johnson, yes. Kareem, yes. LeBron, no. Jordan, no. Hakeem, no. I don't know if Hakeem won one. Duncan, I don't know. But so many, like, obviously Kobe never went to college, but like nobody gives a damn about whether you win in college. Like, especially because when you go to Iowa, it's like blaming Steph Curry for not winning at Davidson. It's genuinely like blaming Steph Curry for not winning at Davidson. It's like saying, you know what, Jahlil Okafor actually was better than Karl Anthony Towns. Jahlil Okafor, Karl Anthony Towns has never won anything at any level, but Jahlil Okafor, he's got that college ring. I was about to say Frank Kaminsky, but he doesn't have a college ring. Of the point guards in the 2021 draft class, Cade Cunningham, nah. He's never won at any level. Maybe he did in high school. I don't know. Who the hell cares about winning at high school? That means about as much as the Irish National Cup medal that I have. But like Cade Cunningham, actually Davion Mitchell should be the best point guard because he won college that year. I don't know. I don't know. Like, it makes no sense. And first of all, like, people being like, she can't be in the GOAT conversation because she never won a ring. It's like, I'm sorry, but like, yes. Like, it doesn't, winning a ring matters, but there's context to it as well. Like, there's a reason why people say LeBron James' best year was 2018. His best playoff run ever was 2018, despite the fact that they lost and they got swept. He got swept in the finals. He got swept in the finals in what a lot of people believe to be his best ever season. The reason why he got swept in the finals, the Warriors were a super team, and his second best player was Jeff Green. But that's fine. Because we all know there are nuances, there's context to everything in basketball. We know that. Like, that's not something that if you're a basketball fan, you don't know. But ironically, when it comes to WNBA fans, they want to make sure it's not about basketball. They want to make sure they can have any excuse possible to say Caitlin Clark is not good. That's the reason. Because I'm just trying to think. Like, Breanna Stewart played with 11 first-round picks. The best player Caitlin Clark played with was Monica Czinano. And Monica Czinano was a good player. She's doing well in Hungary. But she won't ever play 1 second on an NBA court, on a WNBA court. Stewie played with how many number one recruits? Year after year after year, number one recruits were going to UConn. And the only reason that, like, and people being like, oh, UConn, those players, when Stewie left, they lost. Yeah, because they lost to a Notre Dame team that had Arike, Jackie Young, Marina Mabry, Westfeld. Was it Westfeld? They were half their team. Half their team were WNBA players. Like, and as far as guards are concerned, those Notre Dame guards were a lot better. But, like, Stewie played with some unbelievable players. They weren't, like, if you put Stewie, let's say you replace Caitlin Clark with Stewie and Iowa. Iowa they might make a Final Four. There's no chance. And I mean no chance they beat that South Carolina team that were attempting to go undefeated back-to-back. Like, there's a reason why Angel Reese doesn't have 2 national championships, Caitlin Clark. There's a reason why. And by the way, after winning in 2023, LSU brought in Hailey Van Lith, who was meant to be a first-round draft pick, and Anissa Morrow, who is going to be a first-round draft pick this year. They brought both of those in, and Caitlin Clark still beat them. And then South Carolina, who had Aaliyah Boston, who had Raven Johnson, they had Camila Cardoso, so many first-round picks. Caitlin Clark beat them. So, yeah, like, you don't have, like, winning would have obviously helped it all. But when you are the sole reason why, for the first time ever, women's basketball is more viewed than men's basketball at the college level, you're one of the greatest ever. When you have averaged 30 a game for your college career, you're one of the greatest ever. When you have changed everything about the sport, you're one of the greatest ever. Yes, rings matter, but context matters too. If, let's just say, obviously the Lakers were a really good team. But, like, let's just say, hypothetically, there was a team, let's just say there's a team with, like, one all-star, or let's say the Thunder. The Thunder look into Cooper Flag, and because of the Clippers, and all of a sudden you're now looking at a team, the most stacked team in history, like, better than those 2018 Warriors, and a player by himself drags a 20-win team from the previous year to the NBA Finals against that Warriors, or against that team, and loses. The player that dragged the team is probably the best ever. Like, in 2018, there was not one person that came out of that playoffs and said anything other than LeBron James is the best player in the world, even though he just got swept. Because the reality is, context matters. Just counting rings makes no sense, because if you want to count rings, Robert Ory was greater than 99% of players in the history of the sport.